right, guys, Red Alert 2 World Series action coming at you here. We got Yuri's Revenge. We're in the Pro Division best of 5 semifinals. Winner of this going on to the championship. Top side, we got Latof in yellow, the Deso King out of Kuwait. He's facing off against Marko, the GOAT, aka the final boss, in red out of Finland on the bottom side. Again, this is a semifinal game. Get my brackets pulled up here. Winner of this goes on to fight the Octo Kid in the championship. So yeah, it should be a pretty good one. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, Latof and Marko, what is there to be said? A couple of the best players in the world. Now, Marko is coming off a couple tough losses lately to Kian. Kian has gone into absolute beast mode lately. He played 3,000 games last month, and it showed, taking home the crown in the World Cup Finals against Marko. So Marko coming off a few losses here. Latof, but Latof looking strong as well. Now, in this particular matchup, you got to think Marko's going to be a favorite here. Latof plays more Red Alert 2. Latof's definitely more comfortable in Red Alert 2 versus Yuri's Revenge. Again, I know every stream I get into the nuances of the differences. Just appreciate, if you haven't heard me explain it before, that at the top level, there are a lot of differences and the players do have their preferences. So Red Alert 2, I think would be, or RA2 might be slightly more balanced, I think, but Yuri's Revenge, you've got to think Marko is slight favorite, but of course, never count out Latof in any game mode, as he's made very, very clear playing Blitz, Yuri's Revenge, and Red Alert 2 throughout these tournaments each month. Now, for those of you guys catching this one on YouTube, you might think the game has just begun. The game's just started. The players just got in here. The game did not just start. The game started in the lobby before this match. The players were picking maps. Marko chose 2 wacky-ass maps and pretended like he was going to go Yuri on those maps, and it forced Latof to use both of his vetoes. Now, any of you guys unfamiliar with the way this works, you high roll for the first map pick. So you roll dice to see who picks first. After that, the loser picks. Now, you can pick from a massive map pool. It's the whole quick match pool, so there's like 50 maps. Now, each player only gets 2 vetoes throughout the series. Latof has already used both his vetoes, and the series just started. So yeah, it's like I said, the game has already very much begun. And it's a little bit of mind tricks because, like, Marko chooses Hail Mary and goes Yuri. And it's like, Latof, it's kind of annoying. Marko doesn't want to do that, but he knows Latof doesn't play as much Yuri's Revenge, going to be slightly less comfortable, doesn't want to play close quarter combat with Yuri. So wacky stuff. Anyway, first little engagement here, nothing too crazy. Latof going to lose that tank, lose a couple tanks there. Latof with a little split on both sides here. So Latof, these low numbers, just kind of putting pressure on. Yeah, I really like this map. This is a Polye map too, right? Polye, did you make this map? I think you did. A Tiberian Sun World Series. I think that's a pretty good idea. Actually. I'll add that to my list. So yeah, so this map starts with pre-captured tech in the corner, so you see both players pretty spread out, mining right away on that ore. And both players just kind of feeling things out. It's definitely a small map. We are going to see an MCB move here from Latof. So early MCB move from Latof, posturing up a bit more, and the radar out from Marko. Marko now going to bring some Desolators into the fight, 3 War Factories to 4. So you're going to see Marko, theoretically, Marko should fall slightly behind on tanks here. That's what happens when you go radar. Oh, actually, 4. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, Latof must have maybe went more miners. Yeah, actually, no, Marko's even. They're even on War Factories, and now Latof out with the radar. So pretty much mirrored here as we see Marko cuts off the bridge bottom left. Maybe just worried about a split. Doesn't have to worry about defending that expansion. Now Marko goes top left. Latof there to match. Desolators from Latof, Desolators from Marko. So Latof chases Marko off from that top left position. Bit of a bottleneck there. A couple sentry guns going to get a lot of value there. Okay, so yeah. Pac-Maniac, first time chatter. Thanks for hanging out, man. Yeah, so the game competitively, no, it's not really unbalanced. Well, I mean, if something's unfair, you know, for both players, then it ends up being fair for both players. So, you know, there's definitely arguments. It comes down to the map. There's some maps where Soviet or Allied are very strongly favored, but the players can choose their factions. So, as long as, if you're the kind of player that can only play Allied, you might get in positions that are unbalanced. But generally speaking, no, the game is balanced. Just depends on the way the players play things. The maps that are used competitively are meant to be balanced, and the game is played at a competitive level, and the best players win the game. So I guess generally speaking, you know, a game like Candyland, right, it's just random. The worst players, the best players, you never know who's going to win. You train all night, your wacky aunt beats you in Candyland. But games like this, yeah, it is rewarded by skill and reps. So, yeah, fairly balanced in that way. So both players, yeah, matching off at this choke point. This is oftentimes where you do see the focus. You saw both players. So Marko built up to it right from his main base. Marko now moving his MCV with a little bit of an escort here to get on this little island. That's why Latof moved his MCV over to help him support this choke point. This is always the kind of the hot zone here. I really like the way Marko... Oh, I see drone. I really like the way Marko uses his Kurovs. He doesn't just build a Kurov and send it in. If the Kurov's not going to get value, he'll just let it sit back and just kind of be a threat. So the IC drone's going to do... Ooh, the IC drone's doing work topside. Drones coming in. So Marko going to go right for the gut here. Marko split off top left. Marko's more than out tank top left, though. Marko just protecting his MCV on the backside. Latof now in a bit of trouble here. Latof now getting droned. Latof has another Iron Curtain coming here shortly. Both players on Iron Curtains, so they will be rinsing and repeating that last attack. So Latof catches Marko on the backside. Marko has to pull these miners out because Marko destroyed that bridge. Latof actually used it against him, but Latov's out-tanked in that position, so not going to be able to get much done there, you wouldn't think. Now, Latof was able to hold his MCV, but not going to matter. He's dead broke. Kurov going in. First point on the board for Marko. Quick reminder, this is part of the January Red Alert 2 World Series event number 15. $400 in prizes going out this month. We've been working through a lot of games all month long, across divisions, across game modes. Lots of action. This is the first month where we've had regular Red Alert 2, Yuri's Revenge, and Blitz. So the pros are banging out in 3 different game modes. Of course, we have divisions for new players as well. A couple of you new guys in the chat. I know a lot of you guys are saying, hey, I haven't played this game in 15 years. I don't remember how to deploy my MCV. Come play. Come play. We're always looking for new players. We got Division 5. It's a group of players who don't know what they're doing. We run an event every month. Really, the secret is come over to the Discord. If you join my Discord, we got information on the events, and also you can connect with other new players. We're slowly growing a pretty big community of new players. That's the biggest thing. You know, this game is so old. A lot of the players who are still around are kind of battle-hardened and very competitive. But we are getting this community growing of newer players. So if you do want to get back into it, join the Discord. redalert2.com/Discord has the link to that. It's a nice place to easy messaging app, free to use, a good way to connect with people. Yeah, there's kind of a group of newer players who are getting together a couple times a week, playing some games. And like I said, we do run tournaments and stuff as well. So whether you're a casual player or you want to become competitive, we got a spot for you. Come join the fun. I recommend it. So Dry Heat, very, 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 very small map here. Soviet versus Soviet. Again, in this matchup here, it is best of 5. Players are picking their own factions. I expect to see a lot of Soviets in this matchup. Marko might go Yuri to mess with Latof in some positions. So both players stretching right over to their gems. Very standard build here. Latof goes right in with an early Rhino. We saw this last point as well. Tried to put some early pressure on. Wasn't able to get much value, but he is baiting some sentry guns here, which can stress out Marko's economy in certain positions. If Marko's forced to build more sentry guns than he's used to, might delay a war factory, something like that. But so far, pretty even. Both players on 2 war factories producing at a similar speed. Both players with that meta build right down to those gems. Latof now going to put some pressure on the oils. And so Latof trying to get this early pressure. Baits another sentry gun. Again, there is some value to be found in that. Making your opponent spam sentry guns early on, there is some value there. Yeah, Division 5, the tournaments themselves are kind of hard because we have players who sneak in. I had one guy this month who's like, oh, I'm brand new, and then he like wrecked everybody in D5. So the tournaments themselves are a little frustrating, but the groups of new players that people get together and play with, that's really the way to do it. So again, that's the Discord. The tournaments, it's so hard, man. I try so hard to try to gatekeep, keep players from coming in and wrecking people, but players always find a way to sneak into the Division 5. I don't know. I've never thought of like, oh, I'm going to find a 20-year-old game and go wreck noobs. But some people do that. So anyway, part of life. Okay, so now we see, so both players now continuing their stretch back to the left side. You saw both players going to the gems first, now stretching back over. So very, very similar here as both players now on radar tech. Desolators joining the action here. Sentry, yeah, so you see quite a few sentry guns here from Marko. Latof definitely the aggressor in this position, but you see it doesn't really, I don't know, sentry guns are pretty cheap. Early on, theoretically, baiting sentry guns, I guess, has value. I don't know. Oh, that was sick. I'm gonna grab the replay. That was sick. So You know, these are these things we always talk about in this game where people are like, oh, whoever has more rhinos wins. It's like, there's so many nuanced, fun things you can do there. So Latof put his rhino into the sentry gun to pull aggro from the sentry gun so his drone could get in and grab that desolator. Marko was able to get another desolator right behind it, so he wasn't really able to get anything out of it, but pretty fun little maneuver here. So now trading Kirovs, we're going to have some Kirov high fives as they pass through the center line. Both players now going to have to switch over to flak tracks. Going to come down to who can manage the flak tracks here. As we saw in that last game, the Kirov kind of the final nail in the coffin. So Iron Curtain's both out for both players as well. Iron Curtain advantage for Marko. Oftentimes in these Soviet versus Soviet matchups, without any early decisive action, that can be what swings things here. Ooh, nice little Deso hit from Latof. Difficult to appreciate, but that will get some chip damage in on those rhinos, and they will pop that much faster in this engagement. Flak cannons out for Marko to deal with that Kirov. The Kirov's going to take out the radar for sure. Surprised he didn't target those flak cannons. Maybe that wasn't viable. Going for the MCV now. Oh, he has to unpack the MCV, so he does force the unpack on the MCV. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get a sneaky drone in there and make him pay for it. But does force the unpack on the MCV, throws off the build a little bit, pulls his attention slightly. Kirov goes down. So an MCV unpack and grabbing a radar versus grabbing a refinery. Both players getting a little value out of those Kirovs. Surprised to see Latof could have considered rerouting when Marko went for static air defense. Yeah, Latof could have considered rerouting that Kirov, but anyway. So, yeah, and so Latof again with the Desolator. Iron Curtain now from Marko. Latof's Iron Curtain's going to be right behind it, so we might see a little Iron Curtain bang out here on the bottom side. Split on the left side, nothing crazy happening there. So defensive Iron Curtain from Latof, and Latof kind of hugging his own Iron Curtain so that he was able to IC his Iron Curtain and grab a couple tanks with it as well. So very nice defense there from Latof. Marko with one tank uncontested, going for that miner, doesn't get it. Now Marko shooting down from the hill, going at that refinery. That's the same refinery that the Kirov got. So continuous pressure in that position. Does get another refinery, and ooh, Marko gets one tank out of position there. Latof gonna hop on it. So Latov's dead broke. Other than that, I have some pretty good defensive exchanges here. The problem is at this point in the game, if you go broke, if you're not, I mean, all of a sudden you go broke, you're not producing from your war factory, your opponent is producing from their war factory, things can swing very, very quickly. But you got to think after those first early exchanges that Latof would be ahead, and he does have a tank advantage here. Let's see if he can get some value out of it, though. Marko's going to have the money to pump fodder here, and that can make a difference in this engagement if Latof's not able to tactically use his Desolators to get rid of the fodder here. Latof's economy's catching up with him. He needs to get that refinery down here. That same refinery bottom left that got taken out twice. Latof failed to rebuild it. Now a bit of a base trade being accepted here. Both players accepting a base trade, and Latof quick on the drones here. I don't hate that. This is hard to say. You know, generally you don't want to accept a base trade if you're ahead. You only want a base trade. You only want a base trade when you're behind. So both players accepting a base trade like this when both players are so established. They have their MCVs. They have everything going on. Force shield bottom side. Latof chased out. And now these uncontested rhinos on the bottom Iron Curtain here. Latof now forced to pull back. He does have a vet and an elite in this group, but getting a lot of damage done here. Oh, and Marko has another wave coming. Yeah, that's going to be GG's. It's got to be GG's. Iron Curtain. Latof. Oh, Latof lost his Iron Curtain. Yep. So Latof, yeah, unfortunately that base trade going in Marko's favor there. Possibly, you know, I mean, there's always 1,000 things you could have done differently there, but yeah, pretty tough position now, Latof. Although, oh, Marko lost his Iron Curtain. Oh, okay, all right, I missed out on the top side. So Marko's down an Iron Curtain as well. Latov splitting. Latof has 2 elites in this group. Latov's got some Desolators. I'm surprised Latov's not building drones on the backside. Wow, I really thought Marko was going to be able to finish that point. These 2 elites. Oh my god, these 2 elites are doing work. So Latof still has power and war factories. Latov's still producing. Iron Curtain goes down. Wait, did Marko lost his Iron Curtain for a second, right? He did, right? Yeah, he did. So loses the Iron Curtain again. Latof splits 1 rhino on the right side. He splits the rest of the rhinos on the left side. Marko, so neither player with an MCV, neither player with an Iron Curtain. Okay, so now Marko comes in on the right side. He's going to feast on those miners. And Latof bringing... Oh, I thought he was running with the miners, and I thought he was bringing the miners to help fight. Latof gets a... Oh, so both players have radars. Oof, very, very interesting little game here. So both players have radars, both players have barracks, both players have some money, they still have an economy. They both definitely suffered. They've lost some miners, but they're still producing. And the desolators that both players have is interesting here. That's definitely going to slow things down. Latof with the tank advantage in these low body positions, being able to split off can definitely be the way to go. So let's see what Latof can get done. I like that he's using his elite to kind of split off. Oh, the battle lab. Marko gets the Kirov out. Marko gets the Kirov out before losing the getting rid of the battle lab. So a Kirov out now. And this Kirov's... Oh, he's got some flax. He's already got some flax ready. Let's see if Marko can find a way to support this Kirov. He's got these desolators he could try to use. He just needs to be careful here. He has so few tanks that one misclick, Marko's army could be going down here. And that elite Rhino being so ominous and menacing in this position. Conscripts coming in, drones coming in. They're just trying to support this Kirov and see if he can get something done here. Latof, a bit of an annoying position. Oh, Marko, Latof, you gotta think Latof's... Oh, Latof comes out ahead, boys. Marko quits out. Oh my god, what a knife fight. Yeah, action coming at you guys all weekend long. Again, I stream most days around the same time, so if you are catching the replay here on YouTube or on another platform, check out the Twitch, redalert2.com/live, streaming most days around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, this weekend we got games coming all weekend long, but today we're far from over, man. This is a knife fight so far, and again, right after this, these guys are playing a Blitz series as well. Yeah, and again, about the streaming, a couple people mentioning, we are looking for more streamers, man. RA to the moon. It's really as simple as that. RA to the moon. We're looking, I want to get more people streaming, playing, watching, Red Alert 2 in all fashions. So right now, with all the different divisions and game modes each month, we have like 80 games in my tournament this month, so it's way more than I can stream. So if you are a new streamer, or you used to stream, or whatever the case, if you want to get into streaming, we got a lot of lower level guys. We don't have streamers for them, so we can match up the new streamers with the new players, get a little symbiotic relationship going on there. That gives the new streamers some content, gives the new players a chance to kind of rewatch their games, stream, and play live. So anyway, we're looking for people in all capacities. As always, the Discord, redalert2.com/Discord, to connect. Let me know if you want to get into streaming, stuff like that. I'd love to get more people. It's so sad. Every time I pull up Twitch, thousands of people on Age of Empires 2. No one's streaming Red Alert 2. No one cares about this beautiful game, boys. We're going to change that, though. 2023 is coming up all Red Alert 2. Drone. Ooh, that drone was close. Coming up the hill, past the sentry. Proving ground. So I do like this map. I like this map. It plays well. Good action. The tech, a lot of tech, right? 4 starting oils definitely changes the way you can open the game. How early you can get over to rhinos, some things like that. Tech pushes as well. The only thing I don't like about this game is the map. It's a little dark. Don't love the dark maps, but that's the way it goes. Yeah, there's a ton of players. So China has their own platform they play on. We have kind of issues. So we play on CNCnet. The rest of the world plays on CNCnet. China plays on their own platform called Rambo. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Rambo has more players than the rest of the world combined. But there's a lot of issues, like there's, obviously language barriers, like their platform's in Chinese. There's some lag issues and stuff. So unfortunately, yeah, it does kind of make it a little bit more difficult that we have kind of our communities separated. But there are some people kind of actively working to try to merge that a little bit more. We do get some Chinese players over each month. Engagement bottom left, 2 sentry guns there from Marko to match. And so far in the series, that's what we've seen, this early pressure. Latof getting some early tank advantages, going in and trying to get something done. Marko so far has been able to thwart these early attacks by spamming sentry guns. Of course, on a map like this, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. The more open the map, the more this early engagement can get something done here. Ooh, and again, that's pretty much how we've seen all 3 points open so far. Latof goes in, low body situation. Even if he has a tank advantage, Marko able to get the sentry gun support that he needs to pull ahead here. Now Marko looking to counterpunch. Marko, where is Latof? Oh, Latof's tank's a bit out of position now. Now a bit of a foot race here. See what Marko can get done before Latof's tanks catch up. The miners are all the way in the back, though, so it might not be able to get much value there. Okay. All right, yeah, so a little hit and run doesn't get anything done. Yeah, there are a lot of other. I mean, when you go in the Facebook groups, like there's a massive Mongolia group, there's a massive group in Vietnam, a lot of casual players. But I guess what I'm talking about is like competitive players. Like I'm trying to grow the competitive scene. I should specify that there's massive Facebook groups in all sorts of countries in Asia, particularly Asia, the Middle East, where there's huge groups of people that play casual games. But trying to grow the competitive side of it is kind of specifically my focus. All right, so now we're getting geared up a little bit here as we hit the 5-minute mark. Radar out for Latof. No radar yet for Marko. Yeah, dogs and rhinos, dogs and rhinos. Plenty of room to run here. Marko does get between Latof and his army. Is Latof going to accept a base trade here? Yeah, so a early base trade situation. Marko heads up to the top right expansion. Latof goes right down the middle. Now, Latof is closer to the MCV, which is nice here. We'll see what he can get done. Going for some war factories. Marko going to pull all the way back. Wow, so Marko second guesses himself there and does pull back. Latof not able to get the MCV. And I think this is one of those things that a lot of new players struggle with. Like right there when they watch that, they're like, why didn't he go for the MCV? Why didn't he go for the MCV? The MCV has so much health. And in the time while you're pummeling the opponent MCV, your tanks are just getting blindsided. And you'll often see that in lower divisions where an MCV dive, even if it's successful, the counterpunch will end the game against that player. So split now. Ooh, I'm surprised to not see. Oh, but a lot of drones. So you see Latof trying to keep his tanks in the open field here, trying to keep moving away from those drones. Latof heavily out-tanked on this right side, and more drones coming. Forces a sell on that war factory, and he's getting a lot of offensive value. The counterpunch is coming. Now Latof, desolators and drones. If Latof could have switched over to drones a little bit earlier, this position might be looking a little bit better. He's got a chunk of tanks, though. Oh, yeah, and his reinforcements coming back. Okay. Oh, Latof's going to be able to hold this. Yeah, I misread that position there. Wow, okay, so Latof looking way ahead. Latof got a tremendous offensive value so far. He lets off those desolators, try to let his tanks through. Nice unit control there. Marko does grab a couple miners out of that, which is always nice. But, so now Marko bringing another split on the right side. But both players have money in the bank. And Latof with 5... yeah, Latof on 5 war factories, Marko on 1. Producing on 1 war factory at the 6-minute mark. Not good news, boys. Not good news. Yeah, I think Marko's doing a quick head count here, trying to look for something to do, but yeah, not going to work. Yeah, and so yeah, here comes the hammer time. You got to think here for Latof. Marko going to force Latof to convert the position. He still has an MCV, but yeah, not really going to matter. Latof clicking down those miners. Marko's economy going to go with it. Marko's some uncontested tanks on the left side, but Latof just has such massive production behind him right now that even if Marko got downfield, it just wouldn't really matter. Latof's starting to go broke, which is nice for Marko, for Latof. Desolators over to hold. Yeah, and it's funny, you know, in these kind of positions. Well, I don't know. You got an MCV, you got a handful of tanks, you got 3 war factories, you have an economy. No reason to quit out, make the opponent convert the position. There's also, we talked about before, there's some mind games involved. You know, when you quit out, it's like, you know, it's kind of like chess, right? If you have no chance of winning, a lot of players quit out at the top level. But so it's kind of funny, like, to not quit is you saying, no, I think you might blunder this. Like, I think I'm better than you. I think I can still convert this position. So you like to see that from Marko. And like I said, Marko's still got, I mean, he's got air in his lungs. Very difficult position, but he's got air in his lungs. Marko with a little bit of a rebuild here. 4 war factories back in action. An economy behind him. Yeah, and Latof's economy struggling a little bit here. In some of those hit and runs, Marko was able to get some miners. And so Latof with 1 miner on the right side, 2 miners on the left side. Still does have 3 oils as well. Now Latof getting a little bit frustrated. He's got to try to take a bite here and get something done. Marko split on the left side as well. Yeah, so you see Latof's going at the miners here. Not super worried, I guess, about the counterpunch, but just trying to slow down Marko's economy. Latof's economy is catching up with him now. Split on the left side. Latof going to bring in a few tanks on the right side to continue on those harvesters, while his main force on the left side takes out Marko's army. Miners going down on the right side, and that will that should kind of close things out here. Marko now going broke, so it doesn't have sentry gun support, and Latof finally choosing to make the dive on the MCV, and MCV goes down. MCV goes down, Miners going down. Yeah, decent little hold there from Marko at the end. You never know those kind of positions. You know, like we've talked about, forcing your player to convert, also opening the chance. You know, they might blunder, they might make a mistake. So, but yeah, very, very interesting couple of points so far. Like we talked about, you know, I think a lot of players certainly going to be favoring Marko in this position. So now Marko now calling in the militia. Latof's got 2K. He's got Desolators. Okay. Yeah, Marko now repairing his tanks. Desolator out in front. Ooh, takes out his fodder and does get some chip damage as well there. So let's see. Let's take a quick look what you guys thought about this one.
I've got the knowledge.
Oh, sorry. Battle. Okay, now we can take a look. So 70% of you on Marko, only 30% of you guys Latof believers. So over to point number 4 again, guys. If Latof's able to win this, he does take home the series. Marko fighting to stay alive here and to give us that oh so sweet barn burner. Quick reminder: the action is rolling on right after this. These two guys are going at each other in Blitz, best of 5. Coming at you right after this. Quick reminder: if you're catching the highlight on YouTube, which I'm sure you will because it's been a banger so far, like, comment, and subscribe. It's free for you. It helps me immensely. Just as of recently, guys, after a year of grinding every day on YouTube, trying to figure out clever thumbnails, editing my videos, all sorts of stuff, YouTube has finally just decided that Red Alert 2 content is worth showing to the world. So just as of recently, the algorithm started kicking my videos up in front of a lot of new people, so we're getting pretty good engagement right now. I want to keep the snowball growing. So again, if you're on YouTube, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that stuff, free for you. And it does help me tremendously, and I do appreciate it. If you're on Twitch, you should head over to YouTube. We post the highlights over there. Only the cream of the crop. Only the bangers make it on YouTube. I only post a video every other day on YouTube. Obviously, I stream way more than that, so only the good ones make it. Early MCV move here from both players. The drone coming. Yeah, both the drone not able to get there soon enough. And specifically on YouTube, just in the last couple days, we did post the World Cup finals between Kian and Marko. Some of the best games I've ever streamed in my life got posted yesterday and a couple days before. So if you missed the World Cup finals, definitely check it out. redalert2.com/YouTube. redalert2.com. Tell your friends, man. Get the tattoos. We all need tattoos. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about it. It's interesting. Yeah, the splits from Latof so far, we have seen Marko just struggling a little bit. Latof puts that early pressure on, and so far, all 3 points we've seen Latof go in, put some pressure on, and lose his tanks, right? Bait some sentry guns and lose the tanks. But it's difficult to kind of appreciate, you know, inch by inch in a tug-of-war like this as you become the aggressor. If your opponent slowly gets on his heels, you know, minute by minute into the game, if you can ride that momentum into the mid-late game and just continue the relentless pressure that we've seen from Latof coming at Marko from all sides, Marko just ends up inevitably like, you know, you hit, they counter, you hit, they counter, you hit, they counter. You do it long enough, you know, eventually you hit, they miss, you get some value in. We've just seen a very, very nice offense from Latof so far. So again, yeah, the Soviet versus Soviet. You know, a lot of my games, you guys see, I force different factions and do different stuff like that. It's a little bit tough. Some of the top level players don't like that. Latof is a diehard Soviet player. In Blitz, he will play Allied, but in traditional, he's made it very clear show matches and stuff like that, he doesn't want to be a part of it. Drone does get in top left. So pretty big economies here from both players. He's got one drone creeping in bottom right. Looks like he will get in. Nice. So drone for drone. Remember, guys, yeah, these top level players, they're going to get their service depots out. They're not gonna lose a miner, but it does throw them off a little bit. They force them to build the service depot, slows down their mining. All right. So Ed saying that he's got $20 on Marko on this map in this matchup. So Ed very confident in this match, going for Marko. I hope so, boys. Wishful thinking maybe from me. I want the barn burner, but yeah, these maps, man, these big maps, I have such a hard time keeping up. I'm getting better at it, but I streamed Blitz, you know, the small maps for so long that yeah, getting back into these, man, there's so much to follow around. I really need to get Snark, get someone else in here helping me out, but a little easier said than done. Everyone's always like, whenever Snark's in here, people are like, oh, Snark, why don't you have Snark more? I'm like, I agree. Tell Snark to dump his girlfriend and quit his job so he can focus more on Red Alert 2. He needs to be fully committed. Snark's trying to value his education, college and his job and his girlfriend. Priorities, man. Priorities. We got no time for that. Leon Zal with the follow. Full Heart 12 with the follow. Thanks for the follows, guys. Appreciate it.
A new comrade joins us.
All right, so both players staring at each other from across the map, loading their guns, sharpening their battle axes, and building up massive economies behind them. Neither player willing to take a bite so far. And you gotta see pretty much identical positions here. Oh, we do see Battle Lab now for... Oh, Battle Lab. Okay, so Iron Curtains will be coming here. Iron Curtains should be coming. Maybe Kirov's? Well, certainly Nuclear Reactors. Nuclear Reactors out now. Some Desolators joining the fight. So both players just advancing their positions here, comfortable with their odds in the mid-late game, and not feeling a need to try to get pressure or try to risk things early on. So Iron Curtain, Iron Curtain with advantage. You saw him pop up bottom right. Just a slight Iron Curtain advantage for Marko by about 2 game seconds. So that's when things will start opening up here with these Iron Curtains. Now, it's interesting, Red Alert 2 versus Yuri's Revenge. You know, a big factor that comes into play with the Iron Curtains, of course, is the Force Shield. In Yuri's Revenge, you have that Force Shield where you can save any building, versus Red Alert 2 where you don't have that. I've heard Red Alert 2 players call it a get-out-of-jail-free card, which I find to be funny. Which does make the positions interesting, the way to use the Iron Curtain. In Red Alert 2, it's a little bit more viable to dive on big buildings. In Yuri's Revenge, there's some strategies involved, right? Like, if you dive on the MCV, they're just going to force shield it. You lose a lot of valuable time. So some players try to hit the Battle Lab. The Battle Lab, of course, is what gives you the Iron Curtain. And the Forward War Factory. The Forward War Factory from Marko to get that Kirov right going at Latof here. Still has a lot of room to go, though. Still has a lot of room to go, but we'll get that oil. Does get the oil. And now a pretty aggressive MCV move here from Marko. And this Kirov may have been a bit of a red herring from Marko. He built the Kirov, pulled Latof's attention, and in the process came with a very aggressive little MCV move, pushing down to Latof's side of the map. Latof in now with siege choppers. Engagement coming on the right side. Marko gets between Latof's army and his base. So Marko now behind enemy lines. Marko's Kirov pulls that Kirov back. The siege choppers. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. The siege choppers just got the Iron Curtain. Holy shit. Okay, Force Shield bottom side. Sorry, the attack. The siege choppers threw me off. I have never said those words in my entire competitive streaming career. Okay, so does get the Force Shield again to get out of jail free card, so no value there. Marko now forced to pull out. Marko now out tanked bottom left. The siege choppers took the Iron Curtain. Can you hardly fucking believe it? All right, so Marko now gearing up on the left side. Marko back in on the right side. Again gets between Latof's army and his base. Marko goes right for the gut now. The Force Shield, I don't think the Force Shield out. He forces a defensive Iron Curtain, though. Defensive Iron Curtain. Marko now running a bit here. Marko out-tanking a bit, about even on the left side, but out-tanking on the right side now. And another wave coming from Marko on the right side as well. Latof in trouble. Latof's miners going down. Latof pulls back to defend his crown jewels here. He's got the Iron Curtain, the Nuclear Reactor, and his MCV as far away from Marko as possible. So now... yeah, Latof considering having to amputate this section of his base. The Elite comes out, though. That can help swing things. And Latof just built a V3 rocket. Ooh, and things swing. That Elite Rhino. I thought Marko was about to pull ahead there. But yeah, so, ooh, sniping some miners from the cliff. Good map awareness there from Latof. Latof now going for an MCV move. Marko coming back in on the right side. Heavily out-tanked on the right side. The Kirov now coming on the left side. And what did Marko have planned with the V3 rocket? It's not going to matter because the MCV gets caught. Latof caught with his pants down there. Marko makes him pay for it. Marko's waves on the right side are just relentless. Latof keeps thinking he's out of the woods, and another wave comes. Marko now pushing on the left side, and the Kirov coming in doing some work here. Kirov doing work. Oh shit, what happened to Marko? Wait, oh, Latof got a split bottom left, took out Marko's MCV. Both players now down MCVs. So Latof did get in and take out the MCV bottom left. Now Latof now going straight for the Iron Curtain. That Kirov still uncontested. Marko doing a great job supporting that Kirov, taking out the flag tracks. Marko's army cleaning up now. Latof still with 4 war factories, but he's paid a heavy price here. And the Kirov doing work. Latof now behind enemy lines going for the Iron Curtain and the Battle Lab. Marko uses a defensive Iron Curtain to save those 2 buildings and saves a batch of tanks as well. Marko, yeah, way ahead here. Holy shit. Grab the gasoline, boys. Grab the gasoline. Grab the matches. The barn's burning, boys. The barn's burning, boys. Look, my mouth's on fire. Cool, right? The on fire mouth. I was like, how are we going to up the ante for this barn burner? I started my mouth on fire. That's how you guys know I care about you. All right, guys, match point, best of 5. So winner of this takes home, goes on to the championship, actually. This is the semifinal game. Winner of this goes on to fight the Octo Kid. Loser of this goes to the 3rd and 4th place game. Never the place you want to be here. So Divide freezes over, classic map. Both these guys dialed in. They're going to have their openings down cell by cell. Soviet versus Soviet, as we've seen throughout the series so far. And been quite the back and forth so far. We have seen Latof bring in some early pressure. Marko with some good defenses. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. Now that last point was where things really deviated from the norm and started getting weird. And those are the ones you really live for, man. The siege choppers taking the Iron Curtain. Marko's use of that Kirov. So many interesting things like that going on there. Just absolutely madness. Yeah, it's interesting, at the top level, Ed mentioning in the chat, it's 90% build, right? So these maps, where you build, how you build, getting your refinery right on the ore so that your miner can minimize travel distance, your war factories to increase your tank production, all those things are so important and really what separate good players from great players, the reps they get in on these maps and the way that they're able to play them. But then there's the micro, a little bit of luck, and then there's a little bit of wild card shit going on, right? The siege choppers, the Kirovs, little things like that. Always fun to see these guys kind of mixing things up, not resorting to kind of that robotic, boring play style that you never like to see. So these guys not only want to win, but clearly want to do it with a little bit of flair and entertain us, which you love to see. So pre-captured tech on this map in the corners, both players building off that right away. Marko, if Marko opens the top side, a lot of times he'll try to put pressure here on the bottom right. Oftentimes I feel like you usually see the first pressure here on this bottom right position. It's so amazing these map makers can create these maps like this that aren't symmetrical, but are balanced or agreed to be balanced by the community in general. All my Blitz maps, I make them perfectly mirrored. But to do it like this, it's interesting because obviously the map is different, right? Each corner and stuff is different. But yeah, I mean, it does obviously plays pretty even at the top level, which is always fun. So, nothing too crazy. Miners and dogs and rhinos. You kind of get lulled to sleep. You're kind of like, okay, nothing too great. And then boom, in a split second, you miss something and everyone's like, Ivor, the MCV's gone, pay attention. All right, I'm on it, boys. Don't worry. We're not missing anything here. Drone does get in top right. So service depot now will have to come. Yep, and again, yeah, it just puts the miner AFK, does slow things down a little bit. So a couple of rhinos up to the top left, but ooh, gonna go right into a couple sentry. Is that an AFK miner? What's that AFK miner doing? He's gonna dive right on that. I'm surprised he could. Yeah, he does. Ooh, good calculation there. Does get the miner at the cost of a few rhinos, but that's nice. And that was the only miner up there. Double nice. Okay. Yeah, nice little hit and run there from Marko. Gets in, gets that first blood, always nice. But now geared up, Marko a little bit. So he has to sell the refinery now. Got to build another refinery. Yeah, some of the classic guys who like made this game. I'd love to get them in. I'd love to do a podcast with like one of the developers and be like, when you built the game, did you know the dogs would be used as fodder? Like, did you know that? Like, did you build the game knowing the dogs would be, like, a crucial fodder element? Or was that unexpected? Did you know how annoying Yuri would be? Or was that unexpected? All these kind of random things like that. I would love to sit down and ask a developer. But it's on the to-do list. All right, so yeah, so cutting off that bridge kind of slow down that backside action. So Marko, you gotta think Marko ahead here. That cutting off that expansion top left, gonna give him a little bit of an edge here as he moves into the mid game on his economy. Yeah, both these guys, man. Yeah, both these guys just neither player wants to make any mistakes here in so many of these series so far. We've seen such catastrophic cascading consequences. Catastrophic cascading consequences. That's my new catchphrase. From even the smallest, misclick or blunder, the other opponent right there to expose it. So I like them. Both of them playing it safe here. Going to give us a nice long game. Neither player over to radar tech. Just focused on that production so far. Latof trying to get around the backside here, trying to maybe pick on a miner. Marko there to match him. As a quick reminder, guys, again, I got to say it one more time. If you are watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. I know I already said it, but I gotta keep saying it. We're trying to get RA to the moon. I'm about 1 million followers short of my goal of 1 million followers at the moment. All right, so now left and right side. Now, this is where we've seen Latof pull a little bit ahead in some of the games so far with his splits. We'll see what he can get done here. I like Marko cutting off this bridge on the left side, kind of slowing down Latof's options a little bit. And both players just bouncing, guys. You got to love the tank movement. At the top level, you keep moving, and your opponent, to the untrained eye, you know, you really have to go watch Marko or Latof's perspective. Marko streams quite a bit, actually. You can find his link at redalert2.com. It's fun to watch because these guys, I mean, look at me. I have a hard enough time trying to keep up just watching, just trying to follow the action without doing anything else. But these guys to be bouncing back and forth between their two groups and keeping up their macro on the back end, yeah, it's an absolute work of art here. So Marko's gonna bring in a third split. Gonna need to be careful here. He'll get out tanked down the gut. But Marko is going to bring a third split. He's going to go up to that top left expansion, and he's bringing quite a few tanks for that particular engagement. And now Latof going bottom right. Marko lets him go right past. Latof now uncontested for that bottom right expansion. But Marko gets around the backside with that split. Marko has another group going down the middle, but Marko heavily out-tanked top left. Latof heavily out-tanking bottom right. Who's going to be able to get more value? Oh, no, Latof going to easily defend this position. Where's Marko's final group? Marko's third group goes right down the middle. They're going to head right to the back of Latof's base. They're going to grab a few miners, but at what cost will any of these tanks be making it home? It's hard to say. Latof now uncontested. Going to go for the crown jewels, now heading straight down the middle. Marko's still building rhinos, not switching over to drones. Latof switching over to drones on the backside. Marko now going to try to click down a few miners. And Latof takes a quick little speed check here, gives Marko some time to get some more sentry guns out. Latof is out tanking down here, but Marko splits off again. Marko getting a lot of value on the top side, but Latof holding. And now Marko forced to pull all of his miners. You gotta think this one's gonna be going heavily in Latof's favor. Latof still with quite a few tanks on the back side. Can Lark... Oh, I thought Latof was gonna be able to continue. Yeah, okay. So... Wow, and after all that back and forth, both players still up MCVs. That bottom right expansion pretty much cleaned out for Marko, so Latof got good value there. I thought this... Oh, yeah, here's this group. Let's see if these guys can continue to press here. Marko is out-tanked. Marko trying to bring some fodder, trying to bring some sentry guns. Latof clicking down the tanks now. Marko gets heavily droned on that right side. Wow, okay, so... Marko now pushing back. Latof. Wow. Okay, so both players, Latof, Marko is 7K in the bank right now. 6 miners working, or Latof with 6 miners working, Marko 2, 4, 6. Yeah, so Marko with a slight miner advantage. Latof going to continue to put the pressure here. Might be able to even things out, actually, with that attack on the bottom right. Yeah, and so finally is able to fully cut off that. Well, he still has the oil down there, but Latof taking out that expansion bottom right, and about even up the miner numbers here. Marko, holy shit, you guys, holy shit. Marko has more money in the bank, but Latof's, I think, Marko still has a lot of miners working here now. Marko going to go for an MCV move, try to regain his position in the bottom right here, and he's also toying with Latof in the top left. Needs to be careful. The MCV now naked, but Marko with more tanks in the bottom right here to chase off Latof's. So Marko is able to get on that ore patch. That'll give him a nice little kick here as we move into a very chaotically coming together here end game. And after all that's said and done, 2, 4, 5 war factories. Marko with a war factory advantage here. A couple war factories up. That will give him the tank numbers he needs. Ooh, but some bad pathing there. Marko has some of his tanks get routed around that cliff. Latof there to jump on it. And I love this this refinery from Marko. Marko's economy, is starting to bottom out here, but that expansion will be really nice. Help him keep back in this if he can hold this position. And Latof going to try to put some pressure there. Latof takes the higher ground. Nice unit control. Forces Marko into that choke point. Forces him to come uphill. Marko now out tanking on the left side. That's that war factory advantage coming through here. Marko is his economy start. Marko moving the MCV now towards the center, and yeah, Latof. This ultimately could be what it gives Marko the game here is his ability to continue to maintain his economy and continue to expand his base. Now MCV is naked. 4 rhinos coming. Marko a little bit slow to defend. Marko's focused on the top left right now as he splits off a couple to go at the miner, but at the cost of the MCV, it will not be worth it. And Marko is somewhere else right now. He's slow on the repair. Actually, he might not have had money in the bank when that first started getting hit. Marko forced to sell the MCV before he was able to get the refinery down. Had he been able to get the refinery down, would have been very different. Marko feasting on miners top left, and Marko now behind enemy lines. Behind enemy lines, not going to dive on the MCV there. He would lose his army and would ultimately get counterpunched. So Marko playing it smart here. Now Marko down in MCV. Latof sells. Latof sells the MCV, moving into a bona fide endgame here. Latof still has a service depot, but sells the MCV to try to keep up with his production. Marko's, and Latof now bringing in the conscripts. Holy shit, boys. You love to see it. You love to see it. Marko scraping the bottom of the barrel. Marko, I don't know if Marko's fully bottoming out or not. He does still, his money's coming in some pretty big waves right now. So Marko pushing in, grabs a war factory. Latof's out tanked, boys. Latof's bringing a group of desolators and conscripts. Latov heavily out tanked. Latof goes behind enemy lines. He brings a split downfield. Gonna grab a war factory, forces the sell at least. And Latof now so Latov's trying to get a base trade, right? He's trying to get Marko to accept a base trade. Marko's not gonna accept the base trade here. There's no reason to. He's up. So Latof heads downfield. Let's see what Latov's doing on the backside. This is going to be tough. He's still building tanks. There's no reason to switch to drones here. You can't drone your way into a win in this position. There's no reason to even buy time, I guess, is the argument. And Latof continuing the pressure that's gotten him into this game, continuing to try to split off, look for offensive value, but Marko pulls a couple back, sends a nice batch downfield. This group now uncontested, other than a handful of conscripts. Well, I mean, Latov has 4 war factories. Latov's going to pull back here. Marko now going out Latov's power. That can be devastating without an MCV. If Latov goes low power, that will pretty much be GG's here. An elite rhino downfield trying to get value, playing off the cliff. Look at that unit control. You love to see it. You love to see it. Elite rhino. Latov! What? Latov pulls ahead on the right side. Marko splits up on the left side now, going at those miners. Latov's going to go on the run now. So Marko does hold off on the backside. That elite rhino a bit annoying there. Holy shit. Oh my god. This is the barn burner, boys. Now Latov bringing his conscripts, bringing his desolators. Marko, this is like such a razor-thin margin for both players. Marko brings a 3-way split now. And all series long, Latov's been the one who's been splitting and getting more value. Marko now trying to give him a taste of his own medicine. Going to go at the oil back right. It's such a razor-thin margin, you guys, because if you go low power, right? If you lose your barracks, if you lose your, you start losing your miners. There's no rebuilding at this point. Actually, with that being said, Latov actually could build an MCV. Remember, Latov sold his MCV in this position. But there is also kind of this crescendo to the game because the ore is running out as well, so that's oftentimes a position where selling can make more sense. Marko pulls ahead on this right side engagement. Oh my god. So Latov out tanking on the left. Marko out tanking on the right. Will we get into a base trade here? I think Latov can hold on the right side. Can Marko hold on the left side is the question. Holy shit. Oh, and Latov rendezvous with his fodder, now gearing up a final attack, but Latov is going to have to hold on the backside, and I think he will. Oh my god. I don't know. I've completely lost the line, boys. I have no idea what's going on anymore. Pushing in now, and the fodder. This fodder is so annoying. Marko bringing over his own desolator to deal with these conscripts. The conscripts using these meat shields from Latov to give him an edge here. The desolator zones Latov out, forces him into Marko's tanks. On the backside, okay, nothing on the backside. Oh my god. Marko with a little bit more in the bank. You see Latov now going dead broke in this position, and Marko chases those out. Latov with another wave coming, and that desolator kind of zoning him out a little bit, gonna slow down his tank's movement. Desolators now from Marko moving. Latov, what's the move here? The power plants maybe? What can he grab? He needs to be careful though, because if he gets counterpunched, he is out tanked. Now both players going broke. And when Latov gets over and grabs that oil, to have that kind of mental tenacity and map awareness at the 15-minute mark to send a 2-tank split to grab an oil, yeah, that's what makes you one of the best players in the world. Okay, and now going to go out a miner as well. This 2-tank split getting tremendous value here in the super late game. Ooh, and they do get that miner. Very, very nice. Holy shit. Okay. Drones coming in now. Drones coming in, and both players take a couple drones. Now Marko forced to retreat, and again, Latof with the edge, and that elite Rhino in these positions can make a huge difference as well. Marko forced to retreat. Marko quits! Marko quits! Oh my god. Yep, finally went broke in that position. Nothing left to do. Latof takes it home. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Oni rozpoznajcie was